Hello! Welcome to the Serve It Forth Food History Festival, kindly sponsored by the Netherton Foundry and Steenberg's The Sustainable Spice Company. My recipe is a slow-cooked pork shoulder in a sweet and sour sauce with lots of vegetables. I'm using my Netherton Foundry Dutch oven, which is a great cast iron pan that can be used in the oven, on the hob and in the barbecue. And for this recipe, which is inspired by a recipe found in an ancient papyri which mentions smoked or salted pork cooked in a wine, honey and vinegar sauce, I'm recreating something similar with fresh pork instead. Netherton Foundry is a great company that makes cast iron pans and pots and other implements for the kitchen, general kitchenware, which are really fantastically handmade objects. Here's my pan. I've been using it for 3 years almost now. And these are some of my spices from Steenberg's, some of the ones I'm going to be using today. And in my stew, in addition, I'm using lots of vegetables that existed in the ancient Greco-Roman world and some fruits like apples too. So you see fennel, cabbage and so on. So let's talk a little bit about the spices. The recipe is like a slow-cooked pork shoulder in a sweet and sour sauce with honey, vinegar, white wine, white grape juice, and also these amazing spices that have been used in antiquity quite a lot. They were popular amongst chefs. So we have long pepper, we have cumin seeds, mustard seeds, and fennel seeds. Some of them they were local, like the fennel seeds and the mustard seeds, but some of them they were coming from further away, like the long pepper, which was really popular, probably more popular than the black pepper, and it was coming all the way from India with the trade routes in the ancient world. You don't have to travel far though, you just go to steenbergs.co.uk to get your spices. So these spices now, they're going to be roasted a little bit so we can have all the aromas liven up and the essential oils all coming out. And this, together with my thyme, my dry thyme here, it will be used for marinating and flavoring my pork shoulder. So once you see I've toasted them lightly for about 2-3 minutes, I will now grind them on my pestle and mortar. And you can use a pestle and mortar, or if you want, you can also use your spice blender, basically a modern electric spice blender. Just make sure you pound them a lot and make a nice powder mix, which we'll then use to coat our pork shoulder. The ingredients lists that we have from ancient recipes, they do have occasionally a lot of spices. So we're talking about fennel seeds, cumin seeds, black pepper, long pepper, thyme, oregano, and you have mustard seeds, and you have ground ginger or preserved ginger, and you have other seasonings like silphium, which is the asafoetida of our days, and there is sumac and coriander seeds, amongst a plethora of different herbs and spices used from all over the Middle East coming to the Mediterranean world. This recipe I'm creating now, you can find it on the Serve It Forth Food History Festival website, where I have all the ingredients and the quantities that you need, alongside with timings. So here we are now with my mix after being powdered for a long time. Now the idea is that we cure a little bit our pork shoulder. So on that respect, you can use something like a smoked pork or some ham hock or something like a gammon if you want to. But this time I used a fresh pork shoulder from my local butcher. And this one, basically the idea is that you can put it overnight, marinate overnight with some salt, a little bit of olive oil to moisten it up a little bit. And put your herbs and spices onto the shoulder, rub it very well on both sides, and make sure it goes to every nook and cranny of the meat. And you can refrigerate it overnight, cover it with something, refrigerate overnight, and then the next day take it out of the fridge and let it come to room temperature before you cook it. Pickling pork Salting and smoking were three very important preserving techniques in the ancient world, so you wouldn't find it too often fresh. Luckily, organic pork in UK is one of the best I've tasted in the world. I also rubbed it with some roasted garlic here. I was not able to find white grape juice, so I took a bunch of grapes, white grapes, and I blend them in the blender. And now, as you see, I'm heating up the juice to reduce it a little and make it a bit more concentrated, a bit more syrupy, less watery, and enhance this fresh green grape sensation and flavor into my sauce. Just for a few minutes, like 5 minutes max. I want it to be roughly 250 ml of grape juice left. So, with my Netherton pan really hot, I'm going to put my pork shoulder to give it a bit of color on both sides. So you see now that's it. And now, once that's done, I'm going to start adding my wine. I've got 3/4 of a bottle of white wine to add. So I'm adding this into the pan. And I'll bring it to the boil. So it will be reduced a little. And a bit of the alcohol will be evaporated. And then, once I finish with my wine, get a bit of reduction happening, then I will add my other essential ingredients into the mix, into the sauce for pork shoulder. You see here, I've got white wine vinegar, I've got fish sauce, about 30 ml of fish sauce, I've got 250 ml of grape juice. And I'm going to start adding them one by one. I will start with my grape juice. And my white wine vinegar. And finally, with my garum, my ancient condiment. So this is fish sauce from Vietnam. So I'll start boiling it, and I'm going to let it cook a little bit. I'm going to cover it. And while this is cooking a little bit and reducing, I'm going to prepare my vegetables. So I'm finally cutting some leek here, as you see. And I have cut already a fennel in strips, and I've got half a cabbage. This is a pointed cabbage. I cut half in strips thinly, and I kept half of it, which I'm going to grill later on and serve it as an accompaniment. I also cut a thin slice lengthways of fennel. And you see I've got turnips and apples, which I'm going to add to my sauce. So I've cut my turnips, I've cut my fennel and leek, and I've got everything there, apart from the apples, which are going to go near the end, in the last 10-15 minutes of the cooking process. So place everything into the Netherton and put it in the oven and let it cook for an hour or so. And now I'm grilling my leek, fennel, grapes and cabbage. Give them a nice caramelized texture. And once my food is ready, after an hour and a half, you see I've got my pork shoulder in one platter and the cooked vegetables in another with a nice delicious sauce served. And then you can put on a dish to serve for individual portions. You can put something like a trencher, like a piece of bread on the bottom, and then top it up with the juice, the vegetables and pieces of the meat. And voila, you have your ancient Greek-inspired sweet and sour pork shoulder. Made in a Netherton Foundry Dutch oven and seasoned generously with Steenberg spices. Enjoy! Stay tuned for some Biltons talk about Falstaff. Was he a gourmand or a glutton?